Hey guys, so it is Christy Asa. Used to be a nurse, full-time nurse for about 10 years, retired, and I am now a six-figure AIRBNB Superhost. So over the years, I learned a lot, which I will point out to you guys on how to start and scale your six-figure business, six-figure Airbnb business to be specific. Now, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram for your more daily tips on Airbnb. Today, I want to talk to you guys about becoming a superhost. Becoming a superhost is very, very important, and not only on the Airbnb platform, but on Vrbo, on Booking.com, and TripAdvisor. Have you ever been on your phone and you literally Google best hotels near me and you see like real hotels just pop up, 10 best hotels, 3 best hotels? That is literally how your guests will look you up on those other platforms, on Airbnb and Vrbo. So when they log in, they put a search, the very first listings that come up to them, these are all super hosts, because these hosts have attained certain level of reviews or comments from their guests that has put them up in front of the clients, and they're more likely to get booked first because they have checked all the boxes. Now, how can you attain that? Now, they're more likely to get booked, and that means they make more money. And it's just up to the client if they want to go with that superhost or not. Before you can literally, your listing is somewhere on the 3rd or the 4th page. So before they can get to that listing. And I tell you, 90% of clients who literally search hotels or places to stay at, they go with the first 3 or first 4 or first 5. So us at the bottom, we do not get booked. Hey guys, so how do you get there? How do you get there and make sure you stay there? First of all, communication is key with your guests. It gets like when they text you or email you, they want a response right away. So it's always important that you monitor your communication. Just like in everyday life, in your relationships with people, communication is key. If you don't communicate, you don't know what's going on. So guests like you to be very, very clean and concise with your communication. I had an issue where a guest literally came in, they tried to get a hold of somebody, they couldn't. They were frustrated. And guess what? It stuck with them until after that they had to drop it in the review. And we also have the communication checkbox where they will ask them, how was your communication? They will literally give you a 3 or a 2, and that affects your rating. So communication is key. And also you want to figure out, how can I best communicate with my guests? If you guys don't know, there is a tip on each platform that will literally guide you before you communicate with your guests. It pops up on the screen and say, check out the skills or the tips on how to better respond to your guests. That is very, very, very important. So before you communicate with any guests, they might curse you out, they might be frustrated. I always encourage you to read out those tips. Always apologize. Hey, address them by their name. Hey, Christy, I'm so sorry this happened. How can we help? Can you please tell me what the problem is so we can better assist you? And when communicating with your guests, guys, it's always important for you to keep up with your word. If you tell a guest help is on the way, help will be there in about 2 hours, I want you to make sure you literally show up in about 2 hours, because they will ding you for that. And also always ask their permission. Hey, just in case, if you show up and nobody's home, do we have permission to enter? Yes, they are your guests, it's your unit, but they paid for that. They want that respect. So communicating with your guests is very important because it will check up one of those boxes, the review boxes, which will likely increase your superhost status. Cleanliness, oh my God. A guest will see what you cannot see. They will see a hair on the black rug. And that's just how it is. They pay for something, they expect to come in, it has to be pristine, it has to be spotless. They will take a picture and send it to you. Roaches, if you have a unit that has roaches, either you get rid of that unit, or you figure out how to fix that problem. Roaches is another thing. They do not like roaches at all. They will scream, they will take pictures, and they will write that in your review. So cleanliness in your unit is very, very important. And I always encourage you guys, if you have a unit around you, take an hour a day, just drive around, do spot checks on your unit after the cleaners have left. And also my checklist, which I include in my courses, the cleaner checklist. So when the cleaners literally do a checklist in each unit, when they're done cleaning the unit, they literally go through that checklist and the sign and the date is. So that helps you hold them accountable and be like, hey, you know, you clean this unit, but the guest said this is what they saw. How can we fix that? It's always important. Make sure your unit is clean to the best of your ability. If it's something that hands can do, get it done. That is important for your unit because guests will look out for that. Keep your hand sanitizers, buy your hand washes. Make sure you have paper towels in your unit so they can clean their hands. Guys, check-in and check-out process is important, especially with welcome letters. Guests do not want to show up and they don't know what to do. They don't know which route to go. Be very detailed in your instructions when talking to the guests. These are all check boxes that show up after their stay that ask them to leave you a review. How was their stay? In general, they will summarize it in the comments, but I also want you to be mindful that are you likely to recommend this unit? That comes up. How was the cleanliness? That comes up. How was the communication with the guest and the host? That is also coming up. So you want to make sure you are checking these boxes. And guys, this is another trick. If you get a 5-star review from a particular guest, figure out what you did right and write it down, because you want to duplicate this. If you get consistent 5-star reviews, I think 5 times in a row in every quarter, because they do a quarterly assessment, you are going to get to that status. Guys, so always make sure that you are checking these boxes. Cancellation will ding you. It will literally affect you from becoming a super host, because when you go to each of these apps, it shows you your cancellation rate. You know, I think on Verbal you want to be less than 1% or so. Airbnb, I'm not sure how many percent, but I'm more familiar with Verbal because I literally look up that. So yeah, you want to stay less than 1%. On Booking.com, you want to stay in a certain percentage. Just watch out what the percentages are. I talked to you guys about managing your calendar so you don't have to be double booked and you don't have to cancel out on your guests. So make sure your cancellation rate is less than that. Verbal particularly is one of the criteria for becoming a super host. So your cancellation rate is very, very important. Guys, if you can avoid these things and if you can manage the things you can manage to get into super host status, I highly encourage you to do, because guess what? When you're a super host, you can play with your rates. You're more than likely to be seen than anybody else in front of your clients, and you are going to get booked. Getting booked at the right price gives you more money, and you stay up in the 6-figure mark. So it is very, very important that you not only go there, but people always ask me, how do I maintain this trick? Each of these platforms, they have quarterly assessment. So always make sure whatever it is you're doing, you want to keep doing it. You want to duplicate it. How can you fix it? You have to fix it each quarter so you don't get dropped off from that status. So if you can get there, and if you can, it's very, very important, because guess what? This is how you get to the superhost status and you make more money because you are in front of the client. Guys, I hope this was able to help you clear out any confusion, how you can get to the superhost status and how you can stay there. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow me on IG and text the word Airbnb on my page, and I'll see you guys on the next video.